Ladies and gentlemen, rule number 1, never play chess immediately after waking up in the morning. Here you can see, so I can't keep a straight face. 98.6 accuracy for white, 1.8 for black, that's me, and it's one of the worst, well, probably the quickest loss I've ever had in the world. I mean, this is just insane. And it's in the Calabrese Countergambit, which is a line in which I do fairly well. So come with me, okay? This is what is the Calabrese Countergambit, okay? So interestingly, this is Chess.com Explorer. So this is part of the Freddy Krueger repertoire. The idea, if you're not familiar with the Freddy Krueger repertoire, which is this kind of repertoire I'm putting together for black, for Vienna Gambit lovers when you play with white, right, is that we want to play the move. It's generally e4, e5, okay? Hello, Sasha. Hello. E4, e5, and what we want to do is we want to play the move f7, f5 at some point and try and tempt this pawn away like you do in the Vienna Gambit on the other side of the board, but when the knights are out here, okay? So, for example, when we get the Italian game, and the bishop comes out here, we play pawn to f5, which is the Russo Gambit. If the bishop goes to here, then you can play pawn to f5, which is known as the Janish, or is it the Schlechter? I don't know. The Janish Gambit anyway. If they play the Ponziani with pawn to c3, you can play the Ponziani Counter Gambit, which is that. There is a version against the Scotch, which is actually not terrible, which I'm still working on. Anyway, what we're talking about is the bishop's opening. This is a tricksy opening. This is quite difficult. And the Calabrese Countergambit continues with the immediate pawn to f5. Now, I have a general rule in the Calabrese Countergambit, which is that move 3, you almost always play knight to f6. Hold that thought. We're going to come back to that. Okay, now the most common move here that I have faced, this is my history on chess.com, is e takes f5, and I do quite well. 51% to black, 48% here, and they take, you play knight f6. Okay, I mean d5, the immediate d5 is playable. It is playable, but any time like this, you're inviting queen h5 check, and you've got to be a bit careful, right? Queen h6, they will take. You have to play your knight to f6, and yeah, it could be fun, but you really got to understand your little tactical finger locks down in this corner of the board. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, so just go back a bit, right? How many times, according to chess.com, have I played pawn to f5? This is my games as black, 219. Put the same thing in opening tree, it finds 9 more games. What's going on, chess.com? Now, this is something that we've suspected in a while. Craig's a big fan of opening tree. We use it quite often in Chess Bootcamp live sessions, and there does often seem to be a little bit of a disparity between the two. And this is set to all time and stuff, but opening tree has found 9 more games than chess.com. Anyway, but here you can see that I do beat the average, because normally black queen's 49%. I'm doing better than that, right? I'm doing 52%. However, there is a little minor Achilles heel, so let me show you the game. It won't take long. 5 moves. That's it. No, I'm right. Right. And this is then in response to the move 3 knight c3, which is not the most common move in the book, but it's good. Normally, I would say they will take. Now, it's very tempting here, especially if you've just woken up and you're a complete arsehead, right? You might go, oh, I know this tactic. I know this tactic. F takes e4, knight takes e4, pawn to d5 wins a piece. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take my points and crack on with my day. Except, what's wrong with this picture? Right? What did we say? What is the rule? What is the golden rule? What did they tell you? in the Calabrese Countergambit. Move 3 is nearly always knight f6. Okay, because, check this out, queen there, check. And I'm like, well, I'm not playing it. I know what happens there. Queen takes there, and I lose my rook. I'm not playing that. So I do this. And that, boys and girls, is checkmate on move 5. What, do I win an award or something like that for it? Anyway. So, what should you do? What should you do? So I have a study on this. Obviously, got studies on all the Freddy Krueger stuff, right? Calabrese Countergambit, 3 knight c3. It's only played 7.4% of the time. That's 1 in 14 games. And here, I've got a little note. In fact, we'll go through it. Let's go through it in preview mode. And it says, our little octopus friend here, do not play f takes e4, tempting as it is. The reason is queen h5 check is devastating. Okay? Of course, I just woke up this morning, got my tablet and whatever. Playing normal move. Oh yeah, good move. Okay? And now, so I've just updated this. In fact, this is a kind of a new line. The most common move here is actually knight c6. D6 is not the end of the world. But we may want to play d6, so develop the dark squared bishop aggressively. We're pinning the knight. Continue, unleash the light squared bishop, d6, and we're happy. And then the final move, queen e7. Okay, very nice little flexible move this, and it's a move that I'm starting to be friends with. Anyway, so I thought you'd enjoy that one. But here's the other point, right? If you are, let's come out of preview mode. If you are a bishop's opening player and somebody plays the Calabrese against you, right? And by the way, the Calabrese is a jolly good opening. You know, it is the winningest opening against the bishop's opening. And I've got this set to 1800 upwards at blitz and longer, right? So we're not, you know, we're not messing around. This isn't pretend chess. E takes f5 is almost losing. I mean, it's like 51-45. It's not losing, but it's not good, right? But it is the most common move by a mile, 44% of the time. Other moves, d3, perfectly respectable move. Knight c3 is very good for white. Also d4. D4 is like the standard stock response, best response against many of these openings, as it is d5 in the Vienna Gambit, right? But you may want to consider this because f takes e4 is the second most common move here. All right, knight f6 is played nearly all the time because most people at this level have got a clue, or at least half of one, not like me. But f takes e4 is just a trap, and they just basically lose. They lose. It's +8 at this point to white. So, one to bear in mind, especially if you play bullet and blitz and stuff like that. Bishop's opening, very dangerous opening, and this is kind of a Vienna style response. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, so there you go. Hope that was interesting for you as well. Thank you for watching. See you soon.